Hi everyone, wishing you a warm welcome today. Thanks for taking the time to join us. We launched our new BI platform last week, and we're very happy to have you with us for this post-launch event exclusively for our customers. My name's Julie. I'm based in the UK and I look after communications in the region here, and I'm going to be moderating the session today. We've just got a few brief items to go through before we get to the main event and what you're all waiting to hear. So just a few logistics and housekeeping points. You'll all be automatically muted throughout the webinar. You'll see on the left side panel that there's a questions button, and we actively encourage you to pop your questions in there throughout the presentation. Just mark who you'd like to answer those from the team. Some we might answer directly to you in text. We have some team members helping behind the scenes to do that, but others will wait until the end of the presentation to respond, where we have around a 15 minutes Q&A session. But if we run out of time and don't get to every question, don't worry, we will be able to come back to you afterwards individually to respond to your questions offline. We'll be checking you can hear and see the presentation as well as we transition to our different speakers today. We'll do that through launching polls during the session, and we please ask you to participate so we can see if everybody is clearly seeing and hearing everything that we're going through today. Thanks in advance. Following the session, you'll see at the bottom left-hand corner of your screens, there's a leave button. And once we finish the session, we ask if you could leave via clicking on that button rather than by closing your browser, as it will then take you to a very short feedback form. And we'd really appreciate it if you could fill this out. It just helps us improve going forward. So thanks again in advance for that. We'll also be in touch with follow-up materials, including the slide deck, and within that you'll find links to other useful materials. And if there's anything else you need on this, you can contact us directly with your specific requests. So let's just take a little look at the agenda that we have today. We've got an hour and a half session to take you through our BI platform and show you some of the best new features. As I say, we'll be following that with around a 15-minute open Q&A session. So you can see what we're going through there today. We have with us today two of our analytics team presenting. So you'll hear firstly from Clarence Rosario, and Clarence heads up the business intelligence product line at Zoho, where he's worked for over 20 years. He looks after product management and technology, experience in analytics, AI, search, big data and databases. And previously, Clarence headed the database migration tools division of Zoho. He's been anchoring BI products since 2005. Following that, you'll hear from Chandrakesh Shekhar LSP, who goes by LSP. As a senior evangelist at Zoho, LSP focuses on creating awareness for Zoho, and he's been associated with us for over 18 years. Over the past decade, LSP has worked as CTO officers, architecting business intelligence solutions. So both will give you an early preview of our new features, which I'm sure you'll love. We also have Alan and Silas here with us from the analytics product team, who are helping in the background and may respond to some of your questions directly through the session in the questions box. So before we get started, we're just going to show you a short video. It comes across quite loud, so you might want to have your finger poised on the volume controls to adjust. Thanks for your attention there, everyone. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce Clarence, who's going to start today by taking you through our vision and execution, among other things. I'm just transferring control to Clarence now. Thanks, Clarence.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. Yeah. So my voice is audible, right?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So thank you for being here on this event. So I'm Clarence. So I head the Business Intelligence and Analytics platform product suite at Zoho. For the next 25 minutes, I'll be quickly going through a little more in detail about this announcement. I'll talk about the vision, the journey that we have traveled so far, and where we are today. Okay, and with that, maybe followed up with a key product updates and a demo done by my colleague LSP. So a quick introduction about Zoho for those who are not familiar with Zoho. So we have been in business for over 25 years with 9,000 employees across the globe, offering over 45 different business applications in the cloud, covering a wide variety of business verticals. We have customers across 180 countries across the globe with 60 million plus users using the different applications that we offer. So we have been a company which has been privately held with no external funding, bootstrapped and profitable since the year of inception. Our mission of what we want to offer by Zoho is basically to provide an operating system for business, thereby enabling all businesses to automate their business processes across the variety of business functions they handle in their day-to-day business, be it sales and marketing, collaboration, finance, IT help desk, human resources, low-code platform, customer service. So we offer a variety of applications hosted on the cloud to really automate the workflows and enable people to do their business functions much more easily. So not only that, we also have been spending a good time to analyze the data that has been collected across these business functions and enable them to get to insights. And that's how, that's where the product line of Zoho Analytics comes into being by offering a deep analytical and business intelligence services to enable business users to analyze the business data and come to insights, not only for the Zoho ecosystem, but also for the overall marketplace, enabling to get data from a wide variety of sources and get to insights faster. So that is the core focus of the business intelligence product line. And that's how we are now providing an end-to-end operating system for business by Zoho. So with that introduction about Zoho, I want to go a little more in detail and talk about the BA Analytics vision and the journey that we have undertaken so far. The BA Analytics vision, platform vision, is mainly focused upon delivering self-service BA Analytics capability to any business users. We don't want to restrict analytical capability to just the IT team or the developers alone. We want to open it up in such a way that data can be democratized or analytics can be democratized and adopted by any business user. So that's the core vision of what we want to offer. And this whole vision is predicated upon three important pillars, namely data management, visualization and analysis, insights and actions. This actually covers the entire gamut of a business intelligence workflow, right? So you start with the data management, which focuses on enabling users to get data from a wide variety of sources, what they call as data integration, model the data in a smart way, in an automated way, enable people to cleanse the data, transform the data, enrich it, and even catalog it before they move it to the next layer of BI, that is basically visualization and analysis. So once the data is ready, right? So it is all about enabling users to analyze data through easy to use tools like a drag and drop interface or a natural language query interface where people can ask questions and get insights, or through interactive options to explore the data and to slice and dice to come up with insights and analysis. So that's the second important component, to provide easy to use business friendly tools for people to create visualization and analyze the data. Once you create the visualization and do the analysis, it's all about deriving insights out of the data. That's the third important pillar, right? People come to a business intelligence platform because they want to get insights out of the business data. That's why they are there. So we want to offer tools which will enable people to get the insights faster, be it the historical insights, or it could be predictive insights or prescriptive insights. We want to offer them everything as part of the platform. And not only stop there, but also enable people to take actions out of the insights on what they derive from the data. Because at the end of it, they have to take some business actions. And we want the platform to also enable or facilitate people to take up actions much more easily. So that's the core vision of what we want to offer as part of the BA Analytics platform. And in recent times, we also wanted to adopt the latest AI and ML technology, which is really powerful and really empowering. Our goal is to really blend AI and ML capabilities in a seamless manner across the platform so that the end users are not bogged down by the details of what this technology is all about. So rather, it should be seamlessly offered and empowering the business user to get to insights faster. So that's our whole vision. And if you look at where we are as far as Zoho Analytics is concerned, we have delivered most of what we wanted to do as part of the vision, but there are components which is still in works for the future. So having talked about our BA Analytics vision, I just want to jog down the memory lane and talk about how we evolved this whole Zoho Analytics service over time. So we started this Zoho Analytics self-service BA service purely in the cloud in the year 2009. So that was very pretty early in terms of the cloud adoption. And there were hardly few vendors who ventured into offering a complete analytics and BA service in the cloud. So there were a countable number of vendors who really started that at that time. So at the end of 2009, so we had around 100 customers who started to adopt our service. And in 2011, so we launched the second major edition of our service, and we entered into a space called embedded BI. So what we figured out was we have a powerful analytics service. Why not we offer even it to the ISVs, namely the independent software vendors and business developers, to take this capability and embed that seamlessly as part of their product offering? Because most times product vendors work on the core functionality but do not give too much attention to the reporting and analytical capability of the platform. So we saw that's a great market for us to really serve, and we started to offer a very extensible and a customizable platform for addressing the needs of an embedded BA play. So that has been a very good success, and we have got quite a lot of traction from customers across the globe who have adopted our embedded BA solution also. At the end of 2011, we had around 1,000 customers across both these offerings. And in 2015, we had the third major milestone that we crossed. In that, we introduced what we call as business apps analytics. Till then, our core focus was to enable users to get data from raw data sources like files, feeds, databases, and cloud drives. But we didn't offer anything much on the business apps integration, right? During that time, the SaaS-based business applications were also getting very popular and widely adopted. So we started to integrate with popular business applications, not only the Zoho applications like Zoho CRM, Zoho Desk, and Zoho Books, but we also started to offer integrations for other third-party popular business applications like Salesforce, Zendesk. And our goal was not only to just connect to these business apps, but to bring in data, automatically do the domain model for that particular space, and not only stop that, but also give you pre-packaged reports and dashboards as part of each of these business apps connected, so that the end users can jumpstart their analytics immediately after they set up the integration. So that's the way that we differentiated in terms of what we offered as part of business apps connected. And this was launched in 2015. And since then, we have been expanding the business apps connector and going deeper and deeper. And this has been one of the main door of entry for most of our customers to get into our product. At the end of 2015, we crossed the 4,000 customer mark. And in 2018, we launched the 4.0 version of the product. In that, we launched the on-premise edition of our self-service BA capability, because there was quite a lot of demand from our customers and from our users to give an on-premise edition, because they had governance issues, and they were also concerned about privacy in terms of moving the data to the cloud. Cloud was still relatively new, right? So we came up with an on-premise edition. We were one of the first Zoho services to offer both the cloud variation of the product as well as the on-premise edition. And not only that, we started to offer deployments in the public cloud like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, which is now available. So we also started to offer AI and ML capabilities part of the platform in a seamless way to really enrich whatever that we were offering as part of the self-service BA and analytics capability. So at the end of 2018, we had around 7,000 customers. And here we are today, where we just now, last week, we launched two important component as part of the BA stack, namely the data preparation, self-service data preparation and management functionality, and the marketplace apps. Coming to the first component, namely the self-service data preparation management feature. So far, as far as Zoho Analytics is concerned, we had been giving data preparation capability in terms of modeling and transformation, but those were pretty limited, not too deep. But we felt that there is an important need to enable business users to prepare the data in a much more sophisticated manner, because most often business users or even developers or IT teams spend quite a lot of time to really prepare the data, cleanse the data, to enrich it before they take it up for analysis. So we want to make this process much more easy and also more self-service oriented, rather than having developers to write scripts to do this whole job of preparation and transformation. So we invested on that quite heavily, and we are now announcing the self-service data preparation and management feature, which is going to cover the entire gamut of data preparation and management, starting from data integration, modeling, cleansing, preparation, enrichment, and data cataloging. So that's going to be part of this platform now. And it's also going to be powered by AI and ML. And the next important component that we're announcing is the marketplace play. This is basically a two-pronged strategy, where the first model is to promote our partners and developers to develop analytical apps and publish it as part of the Zoho Marketplace and complement our customers, right? So Zoho Marketplace is one of the very popular avenues through which our customers look out for other complementing solutions to their Zoho services. So we want to now enable partners to participate in the BA analytics spectrum and develop analytical apps. That's one thing. And the second thing is we are also venturing into third-party marketplace by offering native applications. For example, we have launched native applications in the Shopify marketplace, ServiceNow marketplace, and Jira as part of this launch. A little more details will be spoken in the subsequent slide when LSP talks about this. So with that, this is the two important blocks that we are announcing as part of the 5.0 launch. And with, this really covers the entire gamut of the BE and analytics workflow in a day-to-day business, starting from data preparation and management to self-service BI, the embedded BE offering for ISPs and business developers, complemented with a very powerful marketplace play. And this truly makes it not just a simple self-service BA service, but an end-to-end modern BA analytics platform. And that's what we launched last week. And we are going to further develop it over this kind of this core platform of offering insights to our users much more easily. So having talked about the evolution and the journey so far, so a little more detail into the architecture of what the platform looks like today. So this the first pillar, namely the data source pillar, is basically the data integration layer, which gets you data from a variety of sources, be it the business applications, your local or cloud databases, the files, feeds, and cloud drives, as well as APIs to enable you to even develop your own custom connectors. So that's a first core layer. Today we offer over 250 different data sources from which you can get data easily into the platform. The second core pillar is basically the data management layer, which covers the self-service data preparation and management component that I was talking about in the previous slide. It covers from modeling to cleansing, transformation, enrichment, and cataloging. The third is basically the core analytics engine, which is the heart of the overall platform, which enables people to analyze data and come up with insights. We offer statistical and mathematical engines. We offer predictive engines, the auto analysis layer, which will automatically analyze data and come up with insights. And the Zoho Intelligence, namely ZIA, the backend engine, is part of this analytics layer. And once the data is analyzed. It's all about visualizing and creating a nice exploratory interface for people to consume insights, right? So that's where we have the drag and drop interfaces, and which enables people to create visualizations through in an easy way. We also have the data stories component, which enables people to really publish insights and visualization in a easy to use or easy to consume formats. You can embed it into a presentation, or you can publish it as part of analytics portal, and lots of other capabilities as part of data storytelling. And the next component is ASIA. As most of you would be familiar, ASIA is the natural language querying interface, where people can ask questions in a natural language format and get insights as answer. So that's the component there, and we are introducing another new thing called ZIA Insight as part of Insights as part of 5.0, where this is basically a narration engine which will automatically bubble up insights that you see as part of the visualization. Typically, if you have a chart, you have to just analyze to come up with the insight that the chart is trying to infer you, right? So rather, this particular engine will try to bubble up those insights automatically as narrations when you are looking at the charts, so that it becomes easy for you to come up with the decisions from the visualization that you are looking at. So that's what we are calling as ZI Insights, right? So across this whole stack, we have a very secure and a deep collaboration layer. And once you create the visualization analysis, it's all about consumption. You can consume this whole insight through a web interface or through our mobile apps, or you can embed this visualization into your apps through embedding model, or even schedule emails to send reports and dashboards in a periodic manner through email or through your Slack channel or Microsoft Teams, and wide variety of other avenues. So the whole platform is currently offered as part of the Zoho Cloud offering, the hosted offering that we have, or it can be installed in an on-premise version, as well as deployed in the public cloud like GCP, Azure, and AWS. So that's how our platform looks today. A quick word about the go-to-market. So we have a three-pronged strategy. So the first one is a self-service BA offering offered both in the cloud and on-premise editions. So we have over 1,000 customers in the cloud and 600 plus customers in the on-premise edition, which was launched in 2018. So we have the embedded BA play, which has been adopted by over 350 white label customers, mainly ISVs across the globe, who have in turn deployed that to over 7,000 customers in seamlessly embedding Zoho Analytics as part of the platform. And the third is the marketplace offering that I was talking about. It's pretty new, but we see this as an important avenue through which we are going to attract more and more customers into our platform. Also, a little more details in terms of how Zoho Analytics capability is consumed as part of our other Zoho apps. So many of you know that we have the all-in-one operating system for business called Zoho One, which bundles all the 45 different applications that we offer. So we also offer other suites, namely the customer experience platform, the low-code platform, finance platform, as well as employee experience platform. So one common thread across all these bundles that is offered under Zoho is Zoho Analytics, which really powers the analytics and business intelligence layer of each of this platform in a seamless way. And this typically leverages the embedded BA capability that I was talking about a little early, and provides this function seamlessly as part of each of this offering. And a couple of interesting stats on how this has been adopted. So if you look at Zoho One, 80% of the customers who are using Zoho One have activated Zoho Analytics. This is one among the top 3 deployed app in Zoho One. And as soon as a customer activates Zoho Analytics as part of Zoho One, they get around 1,200 pre-built reports and dashboards covering analytics across the various different business functions that we offer, be it CRM, finance, help desk, or HRMS. So we provide such a variety of reports so that the users of the Zoho One platform can immediately get to insights faster. The last important interesting insight on this one is if you look at how this Zoho Analytics is consumed across the various bundles, over 50,000 businesses use Zoho Analytics in an embedded model day in, day out as part of the Zoho apps bundles. So that's a scale in which this whole service is deployed. So I want to spend a few minutes in terms of a key differentiator. So how do we really differentiate ourselves from the core competitors in the BA and in the competitive BA and BA analytics marketplace. The first important differentiator is what we call as unified business analytics. I talked about business apps analytics. So this is an extension to this whole concept of business apps analytics, where we not only get data from a variety of business apps, we do the automatic domain modeling. We provide pre-packaged remotes and dashboards as part of that integration, and also even train our ASIA engine, the natural language querying interface for the domain. For example, if you are getting data from Salesforce, our NLQ engine is automatically trained for the Salesforce domain. So if you can come and ask questions like, show me the sales in the last year, in the last couple of years, or last couple of months, or you can rephrase the same question and ask, show me the revenue in the last couple of months, or you can even ask, show me the return on investment in the last couple of months, where sales, revenue, or even ROE could mean the same. It could come from the same table or same module. It could be a deals module or a potential module or a leads module from the same column, but it has been interpreted differently because the lingo in which the sales team will interact within their organization could differ. So you can train NLQ to even understand that. So we have trained NLQ, namely ASIA, to understand the domain lingo and answer questions in the context of the business workflow. Right? So we did not stop with that, just getting data and giving pre-built reports and dashboards. We went the next extra step, where if you are bringing data, for example, from let's say CRM, Zoho CRM, and Zoho Desk, which is basically the help desk system that Zoho offers. So we understand the domain models for a Salesforce system as well as a help desk system. So we build the connection across these two different business functions, right? Automatically, without you doing much. You don't have to go and create lookup columns. You don't have to go and create foreign relationships. We do the domain models and do the linkages across these two different apps automatically. Thereby, the users who are trying to install these integrations in Zoho Analytics will get end-to-end insights spawning across their sales data set combined with the help desk data set. For example, if they are looking at a dashboard, they might look at a chart which will show the top sales, top customers, and the sales that is got from the top customers, along with the number of tickets that they have received from each of these customers every month. You can see the two metrics plotted in the same chart. It is possible today, right? Today, it's because of the fact that we have a unified data model that blends data across all these business apps automatically. So that's what we call as unified business analytics. It enables end users to get end-to-end business insights across the business functions easily. So that's a core differentiator. And most of the customers who onboard Zoho Analytics as a customer, onboard Zoho Analytics, they start with this function, and then they expand over time. So we don't. A couple of other important key differentiators is the embedded BA play, which I talked about. The platform extensibility. We offer a variety of deep functional APIs, which can enable developers or business ISVs to develop vertical analytical applications over our platform. The deployment models that I was talking about, be it cloud, the on-premise, the public cloud deployments, makes it much more flexible for deployment. And the last two things, which is a common denominator as far as Zoho is concerned, the low total cost of ownership and ease of use. So these are the most important differentiators we see ourselves on how we play the game against the top competitors in the BA marketplace. So with that, I will come to a close of my talk and hand over the session to LSP to walk through the remaining sessions. So if you have any questions on what I spoke about till now, please post it in the questions box. I will definitely answer them as part of the Q&A session at the end of this presentation. Thank you. Over to you, LSP.
Thank you, Clarence. So good afternoon or good morning, folks, wherever you're joining me from. Just doing some housekeeping here real quick. So Silas, everybody's able to hear me and see me. What's the outcome of the poll?
Yes, LSP.
Excellent, thank you. So the key highlights, we're going to focus on some of the capabilities that we have added as a part of the platform. Specifically, we're going to look at the self-service data preparation and management. We're going to look at some of the additional capabilities or newer capabilities or enhancements to the augmented analytics capability that Zoho Analytics has. And we're also going to look at data stories. This is a very interesting aspect in terms of how we can enable an organization to become more data-driven in terms of how everyone, every line of business user or the exec team can consume data and make decisions based on data. And then marketplace, this is again a new go-to-market strategy that Clarence had talked about in the go-to-market section, but we'll get into the details of what exactly do we mean by the marketplace apps. Starting off with self-service data preparation management. 60 to 80% of any BI practice is about preparing the right data. If we do not have the right data, it's going to be garbage in, garbage out. Needless to say, it's going to be useless insights with useless data. So the first step is to prepare the data, and looking at the needs of a typical BI workflow, we started working on a self-service data preparation layer. Why do I say and emphasize on self-service data preparation? A decade ago, BI and analytics was within the confines of IT and people who had significant technology chops to create visualizations, to create use data and create and do analysis, and then pass it over to the line of business user. That has changed. The likes of Zoho Analytics and other BI providers have changed that whole dynamics of how a line of business user can connect to the data that they are working on a daily basis, be it a CRM system or be it a homegrown application. They were able to bring it into a BI tool, and it was easy to use, drag and drop interfaces, and natural language capability and whatnot. In the same way, data preparation has been within the confines of IT. People required significant SQL chops or the ability to write scripts or do macros and whatnot to prepare data. We are trying to change that. We are trying to give a tool now where a line of business user can connect to their business application and clean up the data and then take it for analysis. Now, there are certain other aspects of data preparation management that I'll come to in terms of what other workflows are possible. But in terms of the core capabilities, you're looking at the ability to integrate data, bringing data from business applications, data from cloud data warehouses or databases that are behind private networks. Once you bring in the data, it's about creating the models for analysis. The system has AI and ML integrated in ways, in contextual ways, where it will help you to create the models for analysis or for any business operation, which I'll explain later. Then the system will also make suggestions based on the data types that you have. The system will make suggestions about the cleansing that can be done on the data, and then any transforms that you want to do. Imagine bringing in data from an e-commerce application where you're looking at the sales trend of all the products on your e-commerce website. What if you bring in data from weather.com and you want to analyze the impact of seasons on the sale of certain products in your inventory? What do you need to do to prepare for winter? What do you need to do to prepare from a supply chain perspective? What are the kind of decisions that you need to take? So creating that models for analysis, blending the data and making those transformations is an important step. That can be done here. The system can also help you with ML-based enrichment. Taking the scenario of the e-commerce application again, obviously you'll have information about suppliers in your e-commerce application or to the e-commerce store, or the products where you have reviews about the products or the suppliers. The reviews themselves, the review comment itself doesn't lend itself to analysis unless a human is going to read it. So what if you can use ML to assess the sentiment of the review and then create a column that will then help you to do an analysis along the lines of the top 5 suppliers with the most negative review, or the top 5 products that are have the best or the most positive set of comments associated with them. So trying to do that kind of analysis, you need to be able to do data enrichment. The system has those capabilities. And once you have done with the whole data preparation, enrichment, and transformations, you may want to catalog the data. You just don't prepare the data set and say, okay, everybody can come and work with this data. You may want to catalog it. For example, you may create a pipeline where you are basically doing that preparation to make the data conducive to be subsumed or consumed by a visualization tool. You may create a workflow where you prepare the data, bring data from statistical systems and other such systems, and create a catalog to feed your machine learning systems and so on. So it really gets interesting in terms of how you can use Zoho data preparation. Our focus is we have kept the eye on the analytics side of the story. However, what we are also doing is we are launching the service also as a standalone service. So one, you can consume or use this within Zoho Analytics because it's a part of the BI platform. However, if you have different business needs where you want to prepare the data for things outside of analytics, so let's say you want to prepare the data before you store it into your final destination, which is probably a data lake or a data warehouse. Or you may want to cleanse the data and push it back to the business application. Imagine a scenario where you bring in data from an ERP system or other transactional system where the data is going to be fraught with errors and inconsistencies. So a line of business user is actually working on data that is probably outdated, data that is probably not clean. So what if you can actually bring it to a data preparation layer, cleanse it, and export it back to the business application? Or even another scenario, let's say you're moving your application from one vendor. Let's say you're starting off with a Microsoft Dynamics CRM and you want to move to Zoho CRM. How about moving the data or migrating the data from one application to another? Or even there, you have scenarios where you want to move from one version of the software to another version. Data prep can be used where you can set up the pipelines, set up the policies, set up the rules to prepare the data, and then take it for your business workflow. So given these different set of possibilities or requirements in the market, we're also launching Zoho Data Prep as a standalone service. In terms of enhancements to the augmented analytics capability, we launched Ask Zia and a couple of other features such as forecasting in the previous release. Now we are also enabling a whole lot of other things. In terms of Ask Zia, there is an evolution. The first pass of it was a search-driven interface. You could ask a question and Zia would respond with a visualization. Now we are making it compliant, or we are giving the ability to converse with the system. You have a conversational interface where every question is going to be responded in an incremental way by the system. Again, might seem abstract as I'm talking about it. However, when you see the demo, you will be able to connect the dots. Zia Insights, clearly a very important update to the augmented analytics layer, where we are now going to narrate what's happening within a visualization. Now, this is just not going to be boring stuff that you actually already see, but it is going to help you to pop up or bubble up insights that would otherwise require a data analyst or a line of business user to put a paper and pen together. So we will also see Zia Insights in action. Apart from that, forecasting. All along, you were able to do forecasting. Now we have opened up the system a little bit, wherein you will be able to choose the right model the right machine learning model to associate with a forecasting. For example, let's say you're looking at seasonal data. You may want to apply an algorithm that can actually factor in the seasonality in your data. If you're looking at non-stationary data, then you might want to have another set of algorithm that you want to apply. So we are now enabling users to configure the machine learning algorithms that can be associated with forecasting. We also have enabled or launched what-if analysis. We'll see that in action too. And we also have provided a new set of visualization to look at cognitive insights or do analysis of textual data. Moving on, data stories. I talked about this earlier, saying, how do we change the way organizations are becoming more data-driven? So obviously, when you think of the boardroom or high-powered execs, they are not going to be logging into a BI and analytics platform or a system to understand what's going on with the data. They just typically consume it in the form of a presentation. And more often than not, these presentations just have an exported image of a particular view of a chart for a specific time and date. It may not really necessarily be real time. So how do we change this dynamics? So we have actually integrated Zoho Show, which is the presentation software that Zoho has, inside Zoho Analytics. And as a department head or maybe as a data analyst, what you can do is you can actually create nice looking presentations with your own narrations in terms of exchanging ideas about what's happening with the data, and actually embed a live chart into the presentation. So now if you circulate the presentation, this is a canvas that just about everybody in the world typically understands. And having the presentation with charts that are live and interactive really changes the way you can get to decisions, because you will be able to operate on the data and then look at data in real time and get to the insights or get to the actions that you want to take. Similarly, Analytics Portal is yet another way of telling the same story. Instead of a presentation, it's about building a website. So what have we done? We have actually integrated Zoho sites into Zoho Analytics, and you can assemble all the reports and dashboards into a nice looking website and have a portal for it. And not just that, you can actually embed web elements. For example, you could basically record as an analyst or a data analyst or a line of business user, if you want to share something with the line of business user or other departments, you can basically organize all your reports and dashboards and even record a video and embed a record within the website. So really makes it dynamic, really makes it very useful in terms of how you tell the story. And the Zia capabilities, be it the Zia Insights or the Ask Zia capability, can actually be embedded into the presentation as well as the analytics portal. That's why I'm specifically highlighting the Embed Zia option. Zia can work outside of Zoho Analytics platform as well. It can be embedded into portals and presentations. Moving on, Marketplace. Now, this is more of a convenience mechanism and also to penetrate the market more deeply. What do I mean by that? Zoho Analytics has all these integrations with Jira, ServiceNow, Shopify, and so on. The typical customer journey is they would go to Google or they would do a search and try to figure out all the analytic tools that they have for their application. Let's say, take the instance of a Shopify admin. Let's say the admin wants to analyze the data. He or she would perform a Google search, then find out Zoho, and then discover Zoho rather, and then go to Zoho, create an account, connect it to their Zoho, to their Shopify platform, and then create the reports and charts. Instead of that, we are short-circuiting that. What we did was we have taken that analytics app that we built inside Zoho Analytics and have integrated or are now making it available in the Shopify marketplace. So a Shopify administrator can actually go to the Shopify marketplace, look for BI and analytics, Zoho will show up, and they can click on Zoho Analytics and it gets installed. All the magic happens seamlessly, and the reports and dashboards will be embedded into the Shopify administrator or Shopify admin tool, so to speak. So really, it's about cutting down the time and also giving more exposure to Zoho Analytics. At this point, we have published the applications in Shopify, ServiceNow, and Jira Marketplace. We're also having third-party ISVs who are creating integration into analytics, and they are making it available in the Zoho Marketplace. Now, in terms of third-party marketplaces, there are more and more apps that you will see coming up as we move on, because this is something that we are focusing on, and we think the effect of network here is going to be significant, and we really want to focus in this way of distributing Zoho Analytics. Apart from this, there are about over 60 updates, be they new business connectors, the ability to create tab dashboards, new visualizations, the ability to change the themes, and so on. And to take you through that, those set of features that I talked about, and I'm basically going to focus about just about everything that I talked, from data preparation to data stories to augmented analytics and so on. And to take you through that through that demo, I have a scenario where I'm looking at a company called FindPick, and this is essentially a digital storefront, an e-commerce website. And they have tools and technologies that they use as a part of their business. So as far as their marketing stack goes, they have data from Google Ads, Instagram, Facebook, Zoho Survey, Twitter, and Zoho Sales IQ. They also, from a sales automation perspective, they're using Salesforce. For help desk and ticketing, they're using Zendesk. And they also have custom application, an ERP solution that stores information about their shipping inventory in a homegrown ERP that is hosted on AWS. So what I'm going to do as a part of the demo is I'm going to talk about the features that we have launched in the context of how a line of business user or a data analyst can use Zoho Analytics and work with these data points and get to the insights that they need to. Claire and Silas, you guys see my screen? All good? Are you guys running a poll now?
Yeah, it's good LSP. Yeah, I'm able to see it.
Excellent. Thanks, Clarence. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a data pipeline for cleansing the data from the AWS system. This is a homegrown application. And as an analyst or a line of business user, I know there are certain tables that I want to analyze. And before I take it for analysis, I know there is some data preparation that I need to do. So what you see here is the standalone data prep service. I'm accessing the data prep studio here, and you're seeing multiple projects, which are essentially organized into workspaces. To quickly give you an idea as to how easy or how simple it is to integrate data with Zoho Data Prep, you click on Create Workspace, you choose the source of data. It can be files, it can be URLs, it can be databases that are behind private networks, cloud storages like Box, Google Drive, and so on, FTP servers, cloud databases, and within cloud databases, you can bring data from different cloud data warehouses like Amazon, Google, Microsoft Azure, Snowflake, Oracle Cloud, and so on. I've actually done that, and in the interest of time, I'll try to basically get into the workspace that I've created for this demo. So I'll cancel this. By the way, I also want to highlight something quickly here. We also have integration with Zoho Analytics. You can actually bring in the workspaces that you have created in Zoho Analytics for data preparation in here if you want, but this capability is also embedded inside Zoho Analytics. So you can do data preparation inside Zoho Analytics and also within the Data Prep Studio. We also have the ability to bring in data from Zoho CRM. Right now, this is something that is under testing. We have not launched it formally, but in the coming weeks, you will see Zoho CRM being a data source within the Zoho Data Prep. So for now, I'll focus on the FinePick ERP. So this is the ERP system that I'm bringing the data from, and I have two specific tables that I'm interested in. One is the items, the other one is the item reviews table. And as a line of business user, like I said, I know there is some data preparation to be done. I'm going inside items. And as I access this table, there are a lot of things that are happening and that are giving me a lot of visual cues. So I'll start off with the data set quality. So it gives me a data set quality report or a data quality report where it says 96% of my data is valid. There's about 2.5% of invalid data, 0.6% of missing data. Now, without me having to know any SQL or any scripting, the system is going to let me change or prepare the data in simple steps. So, for example, if you look at invalid data, I have a visual cue on the price column that's telling me that there is some inconsistent data here. So, to fix that, I am going to select. Okay, before I even select that, I want to highlight the issue itself. So most of the prices are actually with the dollar notation or the dollar symbol prepended. However, if you look at some other columns, some of the other rows, the values have the USD string prepended to it. So I really want to change that. I want to make it consistent. I want to make it dollar notation everywhere. So to fix that, I select the column, the row values where I find the appending entries. And immediately you will see a new column show up on the right-hand side. It's basically giving me a preview of the action that I've done. I've basically selected a text. And because of the fact that I've selected a text, the system is making suggestions. And think of it from a data preparation standpoint. Typically, you would want to split the column into two or count the number of entries and so on. So the system is actually making those suggestions. So it's saying, hey, do you want to extract the values that are matching and create a new column? Or do you want to replace the matched values? Or do you want to count the values or split the values and so on? So in this case, like I said, my goal is to cleanse it. So I'm going to make it consistent. I'm going to replace the matching values. And to do that, I'm going to click on Edit, replace it with $sign. And as you can see, every action is being reported back. So you see the preview, you see what's happening to the data, and you apply it. And literally within 2 clicks, I'm able to clean this column values, and the data is now complete. And now there is a refresh happening, and it is coming back with a data set quality report. It says 99% of my data is now valid, which is a good thing. I still have to work on the missing data part. So to do that, I'm going to select the column that has the issue. So the item status is the column that has issues. And to fix this, I'm going to say fill empty cells. And again, you see there's a lot of things going on. There is the preview that's coming up, and then it's also making suggestions around what can you do. Do you want to use the previous values? Do you want to use the next cell value? Or do you want to go with the median and use the one that has the most frequent value? Then there is the hard coding value. You can just say whatever value that you want here. Again, an interesting option is formula. So I can use the column values within this table and do my own formula and say, hey, if the country of origin is United States of America, I want the value to be yes. Otherwise, I want the value to be no. And not just that, you will also see that there is help along the way. You can actually, it shows you all the columns. You can select the functions that you can apply on the columns are also shown out here. So really makes it simple for you to specify what you want from a formula perspective. So I'm going to apply this value here. And just like that, literally, I've been talking a lot more than actually what I'm doing here. Literally 4 clicks, and I actually have cleansed my data, and now it's at 100% quality. Now, while technically the data is 100% valid, I, as a business user, know the brand column has some issues. And the reason I say issues is because if you actually observe the histogram of the values that this column has, it has Samsung, Sony, Yamaha, and everything. But if you see Samsung, for example, there is Samsung that is presented the right way, then the inconsistent spelling, and there are multiple such options that are going on here. So I want to fix that. I want to make it consistent. And to do that, I am going to apply a transform called cluster and merge. So based on the type of data, or based on the type of column, the system automatically associates the metaphone algorithm and clusters the value that are close in terms of their values. So it basically brings me all those values that are close to each other and says, hey, here's a suggestion. Would you want to take it? I'm not going to take the first one. I'm going to say S Samsung. And for the second one, StarTech, I'm fine with it. But again, I want to go with a different representation. I just want it to be ST. And yet again, I have here in this step, I'm actually enriching the data. I'm not actually, this is not inconsistent data. This is just enrichment so that I have the right values, because I know I only have 7 types of brand in my store, but there were 15 values earlier. So I'm just clustering and merging the data set. So while I'm here, I also want to make sure that there are no duplicates. So I'm going to quickly do data deduplication row-wise. And the system is going to, again, come back and highlight some of the rows that have duplicates. That it says it's found 10 duplicates. I'm happy with that. I'm going to remove that. So at this point, I've brought the data from Amazon. I've done the data preparation for the items table and removed any duplicates, made enrichments, and it's ready. Now, while I was doing all these things, the system was recording everything that I did. So that is actually recorded into what we call rule sets. So every action that I did, like I said, is recorded. And why do we record this? Think about this from a pipeline perspective that is continuous. So you may want to sync the data from your ERP system every 3 hours or 6 hours or 12 hours or on a daily basis. So every time you bring the data, the rule set will get applied and your new data set is going to be prepared that can be used for your output, be it analytics or be it pushing it to a data warehouse or whatever that data business workflow for you is. This is a continuous process, so to speak. You can also save this rule set to be used with other workspaces that you create. We have that ability as well. So something that's useful, because removing, let's say, spaces and all those things, or data duplication and all those things can be created in a simple template that can be applied on just about every data set that you bring in. So that was the items table. It's all good to go at this point. Now I also have the item reviews table. And my goal is to create a data set that has all the items that have reviews and take it for analysis. So here, again, I'm going to do a quick data enrichment because the data is 100% valid. There is no issue here. So what I'm going to do with review, like I said earlier during the presentation, these are blobs of text. Doesn't really help me to analyze the data unless I read through every one of them. So I'm going to quickly do a sentiment analysis and call this sentiment. And a new column called sentiment gets created, and it basically captures the sentiment. It's either positive or negative, or it even highlights comments that are neutral. So now I have a data set that I'm happy with. What I also want to do now is combine the items table and the item reviews table and create a new table for analysis. To do that, I go into combine, just say add the two tables, items and item reviews, create a join. It's going to suggest the column on which there is a map or a match. I'm happy with this suggestion. And because I'm creating a combined table, it will have two item ID columns. So I want to drop one of them. So a new data set is now being created, which is now going to be the input for my analytics system. So let's take a look at the data table. It's 100% good quality data because I'm doing this operation on a valid data set. It's ready. But before I take it for my output, in this case, the analytics, I want to show you some of the other capabilities of the product, where as a administrator, I can basically say this data set is ready to go, or marking it as ready to use, because only then can it be exported into other systems. I am logged in as a super user, so for testing, I can just do anything. However, if you want governance within the organization, you can say, hey, this data set has been reviewed. This data set is good to go for exports. And just to keep it simple and straightforward, I'm also going to say it is for the BI and analytics workflow, right? So why do we have these tags? Well, right now it looks pretty simple. You only have 3 tables, but what if I have hundreds of tables? I may have created new models for analysis that I want to take out, or I can create another data cleaning operation and create a new table that can be then fed or exported to a machine learning system. So I can just create that divides and manage my data the way I want within the organization. So now that this data is ready, let's see what can I do from an export standpoint. What does the system offer today? So I'm going to do a scheduled export. So again, I go back to the pipeline. Data comes in, it gets processed, it gets output into another system. So this is a continuous process. And here, I'm going to say do this daily. And from an export standpoint, if your workflow is it's all about, let's say, visualizing or analyzing the data. Today, we have integration with Zoho Analytics. We will also be providing integration with Power BI and Tableau in the coming months. So you can take the data from Zoho Data Prep to either Zoho Analytics or your visualization tools of choice. You can also take it back to the cloud database. Like I said, you may want this to be a process that's fine-tuning the data that you have in the application that your line of business user is using. Think CRM. You absolutely want to clean the data at whatever frequency and make sure that your team is following up with the right leads to nurture. Be it the marketing team or the sales team, they have the right set of data, right contact information, and so on. So at this point, I've already done this export as well, but just wanted to show you the full arc of what the data preparation process, the input and output process looks like. So this was about preparing the data for consumption in Zoho Data Prep. What does it look like? So let's say I'm a Zoho Analytics customer. Do I need to have Zoho Data Prep, or do I need to subscribe to Zoho Data Prep? The answer to that question is no. Okay, LSP, why on God's green earth are you saying this? Well, simply because inside Zoho Analytics, you can import the data from whatever data source you want. So let's say I'm bringing this file called items final, and I do next. It tells me the item. So this is a familiar view, but what we have added here is these 2 hyperlinks. One is to view the data quality, So in this case, my data set is great, but let's say I want to do the enrichment. So I can say, hey, prepare the data and go to the item name. And let's say I want to basically, this one here in this case is a great example. This has the name of the brand, the product brand, as a part of the item name. So I would typically have to split this column and then do a cluster and merge. So I can do that. But I'm not going to go through that exercise, but just want to give you a sense of what inline data preparation looks like within Zoho Analytics. So one thing that I want to highlight, do you have all the capabilities of Zoho Data Prep inside Zoho Analytics Data Prep, in the inline data prep? The answer to that question is no. Because when you're consuming data prep in the context of Zoho Analytics, the output or the export system is Zoho Analytics. You cannot export the data from this data prep layer to a third-party application or so on. You can do it in an indirect way. You have the APIs in Zoho Analytics, you have the export option. You can prepare the data and then export the workspace data using APIs or the export options. But clearly there will be certain differences in terms of how there's a context in which this is integrated, and the context is it is meant for the analytics workload. So with that, let me go to some of the other key capabilities. So this is a workspace where I have the data as it gets populated. Give me a second. I pulled in data from Salesforce. Like I said, this is FinePick. We went through the demo scenario. Zendesk, Sales IQ, ERP system. I have Instagram, Google Ads, and so on. So you're looking at the sales report. Clearly, this is the dashboard that gets generated automatically by the system when you integrate it with Salesforce. So I want to talk about augmented analytics capabilities to start off. So first one I'm going to go through is the forecasting capability. So this is a report that gets automatically created, like I said. However, let's say depending on the type of data that you have in your Salesforce CRM, you may want to associate a different algorithm. So to do that, you can say, hey, apply a custom algorithm. And the algorithms that we have, there is a catalog of algorithms that gets bundled with the system. You can choose within those. So for example, like I said, this is applying ARIMA, but I know my data has seasonality, so I may choose seasonal ARIMA. Or let's say I'm looking at non-stationary models. At that point, I'll be using the ETS models. And in there, I have the ability to choose a host of options, a host of algorithms, machine learning libraries that I want to be associated for this particular forecasting type. So you can do that. You have SDL, you have regression. And even within these, if you observe, there are actually variables that you can go and configure. So just wanted to highlight that capability real quick. So apart from that, what are we going to do? Where is this going? Well, at some point in time, as a part of the roadmap, what we are going to allow businesses to do is to be able to import machine learning libraries or models that have been created by your data science team and import that into Zoho Analytics and then use it on the data set that you have. So let's look at another augmented analytics capability. I'm going to be talking about ZIA Insights here. So this is an interesting chart by itself. In the sense, it gives me sales by region in the United States. It lets me to do categorization visually. So I know each state contribution to the revenue. However, if I want to kind of get to details like, hey, what are the top 5 states? What top 3 states are contributing to revenue and so on? I literally have to put a paper and pen together and jot down things and do sorting of data and whatnot. This is where I'll basically employ ZIA Insights. And this is going to bubble up some inferences to me. For example, here, if you observe, it says the top 4 states are contributing to 26% of my revenue, top 16 contributing to 50% of my revenue. Great. And the total sales between 2020 and 2021 was 80.84 million, and some interesting stats out here. So what's the big deal, LSP, right? What's the big deal? Okay, ZIA Insights is doing this. The idea is the faster you get to an insight, the faster you're able to take a decision. So faster insight means faster action. So that's what this whole idea is all about. And you're going to see a lot more capabilities being built into Zia Insights in the near future. But again, it's too early for me to talk about it, but this is the start. Some very interesting things going on here. In terms of some of the visualizations, like I said, there's cognitive analytics, word clouds, and whatnot. I want to show you an interesting dashboard for the sales that I'm having in my e-commerce store. The apparel sale by salesperson. So, for example, cap, footwear, shades. It tells you by salesperson what's the revenue contribution by the salesperson towards those particular elements. Now, we also have this particular chart here that tells you the consumption of brands. And right now you're looking at the male image in the background, and it basically tells me for shades, about 11.292K, $11,000 is for Ray-Ban, and then the contribution of Tom Ford is 6.29. So really, it allows you to kind of do these kind of interesting charts where you can actually have background images and have the visual in specific coordinates. That way, for example, if you're looking at the jackets, it tells you between Levi, Old Navy, Eddie Bar, and Gap, what's the contribution, in this case, I'm looking at the dollar value, but you can even have percentages in the pie chart and go from there. Another interesting visualization is the average profits percentage by brand. Here, you're looking at a word cloud, and I'm basically looking at all the brands and the profit percentage that they generate. For example, if I want to look at only the brands that are generating less than or have less than 50% profit percentage, the system is going to basically show me between American Eagle, Skechers, and Samsung, this is the revenue or this is the profit percentage. Let's say I only want to look at brands that have more than 20%. It gives me this kind of visualization. So everything is there. You can play around. There's the notion of heat maps kind of thing being integrated into this visual. So really you can start doing some interesting things in terms of how you present data. Another thing that I want to quickly highlight, not really going to get into too much of detail, is Ask Zia. And here, again, going back to the augmented analytics capability, this is conversational capability. Let's say, show me sales by items. And the system knows, because of the semantic mapping, that it needs to go to the ERP system, and it comes back with this visual. Now I'm going to say, get me the top 10. It's going to give me a new chart with only the top 10 items within the previous question. So there is a context. This is an incremental response. So you can have a conversation like this with the system, and then you can actually save this report and put them into dashboards, or do other things like apply filters. So this can be a good starting point to quickly start creating reports and charts. You don't have to go through the drag and drop interface, which is still a part of the system, but you don't have to start there necessarily. A quick look at the tab dashboard. So this is a tab dashboard where you're looking at unified social media dashboard where I have data from Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook organized into different tabs. This is something that a lot of our customers have been asking for. Just wanted to kind of quickly bring it up here. So this was about augmented analytics. So we saw data preparation, we saw the augmented analytics layer. Moving on to data stories. So here I have a presentation that has been created using Zoho Show that is integrated into Zoho Analytics. So what is the experience like? So as a data analyst, you can create a presentation. You can have your narration about what's happening with the data. Just give it a second. The chart is being embedded. Close this one. So here is a chart, and this chart is live and interactive, meaning I can operate on the data. And let's say I'm a exec within an organization. I want to operate on the data. Guess what? I can apply, change the filter to the last 24 months, and do whatever operations have been assigned or permitted by the user who's accessing this presentation. So moving on, here is a chart where you're going to look at the traffic generation by different data of different sources, such as direct traffic versus referral traffic, and the search engine traffic. And I also have my own narrative. Texas and California drives 30% of traffic and whatnot. But let's say I need to get some more. You can launch Zia Insights here, and within the presentation, it's going to give you the details. There are 3 different data sources. Yeah, nothing new about that, but a total of 51,442 visits to my websites. The top 3 states contribute to 30% of the total number of visits, and the source direct is contributing to 33% of the traffic. So if I am the head of marketing, right there is an insight that will let me decide whether I should be focusing on creating more original content to drive traffic, or should I be pausing or spending more on my Google ads and so on. Not just that, I also talked about Ask Zia. You can actually embed Ask Zia, like I said earlier. And I'm going to say, show me sales by months. Comes back with this chart, sales by months. And I'm going to say forecast for next 6 months. So there you go. You have the forecast. Now, what does this do? Why is this ever useful? Well, you can actually walk into to any meeting or presentation just with Ask Zia, and as you are discussing or debating something, you can start creating those visuals. So this can actually be a request response system, and you can again be driven by data as you're having those conversations. So one way to do data stories is presentation. The other way is a website. So you can actually organize all the reports and dashboards into a website the way you want, with elements, web elements, and really make it a web native interface. A business user or line of business user who's consuming the data doesn't have to go into Zoho Analytics and learn the internals as to how to navigate there and whatnot. Just make it simple. You can organize the navigation and so on. So just wanted to quickly show that. So what does it look like from a data analyst or a line of business user who is trying to organize this, right? So this is, I'm going to show you the Zoho Analytics portal builder, where I'm editing the existing portal that I just had. And as you can see, it's going to bring all the dashboards, reports, and pretty much like the dashboard builder that you would be familiar with. Instead of organizing that into a dashboard, the reports and everything into a dashboard, you would organize that into a website like this. And you can also do other things here. You can have, like I said earlier, you can have elements within the website. Like I said, a Google map, maybe perhaps, or a video can really be interesting. Let's say you're going to your quarterly review meeting. You can have all the analysis done, and you can have, as an expert, you can record a video and embed that into the website and share it with the exec team. And things around settings, for example, instead of having a top light theme, top pane light theme, which is what the UI looks like right now. Let's say I want to go into the left pane dark theme. So what does that look like? So you can have these kind of changes, visual changes in terms of how you want to present the website to the user and so on. So again, cover the whole arc, data preparation, outline data preparation, meaning using the Zoho Data Prep Studio, then doing inline data preparation within Zoho Analytics. We saw the augmented analytics capabilities, the data stories, and so on. With that, I am done with the demo. I will now pause my screen share. Broadcast the presentation real quick. So in terms of pricing, what does this mean? So from a pricing perspective, the consumption of the analytics on cloud, on the basic plan, nothing much changed. From a standard plan perspective, The slideshow capability, the data story capability, is available as a part of the standard plan. In terms of data preparation capability, inline in Zoho Analytics is available as a part of the premium plan, and so are ZIA Insights, the natural language generation capabilities available there. And within the premium plan, the portal is an add-on. It's not available by default. If you are a premium customer, you want the analytics portal capability, that's an add-on that you need to buy. In terms of enterprise, it's all inclusive, and it also includes one analytics portal per organization. So what are the additional add-ons that you have? So now we have also launched, all along, we only had one type of user in Zoho Analytics. Now we also have viewer licenses. So a regular user license comes at $8. However, a viewer license is debuting at $4 per user, and then you buy it in bundles of 25s, 50s, and 100s, and so on. Starts at $4 per user, really goes down to $3 per user as you increase the number of users in the organization. What's the pricing for data prep? There's a free edition that can process up to 20,000 rows. In the case of the standard plan, it's about 2 million rows that can be processed. You can bring in data from, you have integration with data sources, 30 data sources and 30 plus destinations. But if you actually want to do a scheduled pipeline, you can bring in data from 5 sources. You can schedule data import from or data integration from 5 sources and schedule exports to 3 sources. In terms of enterprise plan, you're looking at starting with 10 users. It starts at 100 million rows of data that can be processed. What are the add-ons available in the context of data prep? You have the ability to add more users or increase the number of automated or scheduled data source integration or data output or data export integration. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you're bringing scheduled data from Amazon, from let's say Zoho CRM and other databases and file feeds. You can bring in data in ad hoc mode from as many number of sources that we support. However, if you want to set up a scheduled one, there is a limit on the number on the input side and also on the export side. So if you want to increase, for example, let's say you're on the standard plan and you want to increase the 5 scheduled data sources from 5 to 10, then that's an add-on. You need to buy the scheduled data source add-on. And let's say you want to take it to other multiple applications from an export standpoint. So the standard one supports 2 scheduled data destinations. So if let's say you want to make it 5, you need to buy this scheduled data destination add-on. In summary, it's been a 13-year journey for us. It did not happen overnight. It's been an organic process like everything in Zoho. We've been putting our heads down. Everything that you saw today is internal R&D. Ask ZIA Insights, the forecasting. Everything has been done internally. You're not even looking at third-party libraries that are being employed or third-party applications or engines that are being employed. It's being done by Zoho because there is a context. For example, forecasting in the context of sales and marketing is very different from, let's say, help desk and ticketing and so on. So we really want to be very familiar with the domain. And as we build out these models, we want to have complete hold and understanding of what's going on. The new announcement that you heard from us about today is actually delivering a full-blown modern end-to-end data analytics and management platform. This is a market that we are very bullish about, and we will continue to invest heavily, and you will hear a lot from us in the coming days and months and years. With that, I'll open up the session for questions.
Thanks both of you for taking us through those exciting new features. And thanks to everyone for posting your questions. So we're going to move on to take some of those. If you haven't posted any yet, please do pop them in the question box and mark who you'd like to answer. So we'll take our first one. That's from Sakti to Clarence. Will Zoho automatically recommend machine learning models based on the data and criteria, or should the user be a machine learning expert to choose the model?
Okay, so most often, so we only offer pre-packaged machine learning model as part of the platform currently. So we do not offer the capability where users can bring in their own models from an external system into Zoho. That's something that is the future. With respect to the pre-packaged models that we offer, for example, in forecasting, The default option is we analyze the data, the models, and come up with the best fit model that can be applied for forecasts, so that users do not have to choose the model if they want to, right? So that's the automatic identification of the best fit forecasting model that is done based on the analysis that is done through the data and the metadata. But the user also has the choice to go and customize the model and choose what they want to apply. So they may choose an ARIMA, or they may choose an ETL or a regression analysis. So if they feel that that's better fit for their business, then they can go and always choose that option. So that's a way that we have done for the pre-packaged machine learning models. Either the default option would be always the automatic model selection, but there will always be an option for the customers to go and choose the specific model that they want to apply. But down the line, we also want to enable people to bring in external machine learning model that they have developed using systems like Jupyter Notebooks or TensorFlow, and import it into Zoho Analytics in the context of our analysis. So that's the roadmap, actually.
Okay, thanks, Clarence. Another one for you from Sydney Eubanks. Is Data Prep a standalone app, or is that a part of analytics?
There are two things, two scenarios. Data Prep is available as a standalone service. So for people who need to have a kind of a deep data preparation and capability, and they want to start their entire analytics workflow from data preparation and do data management before they come to the analytics layer, they can start with the standalone data preparation service that's part of the platform. But if for people who want to have a lightweight data preparation capability right inside the context of Zoho Analytics, so what the industry was talking about is the inline data preparation features. So this will be embedded as part of the import wizards of Zoho Analytics. For example, in the import files wizard, the import cloud drives wizard, import database wizard. Right when you import the data set, you will see the prepare data option over the preview dialog. So you can invoke the data preparation features there in the context of what you're importing. You cannot bring in some other data outside the import wizard, right? So that kind of a scoped data preparation functions will be available as part of the Zoho Analytics product. But these inline features will be available only from the premium plan. But those who want deep functionality with respect to data prep, they can avail the standalone offering too, and complement their analytics, Zoho Analytics capability also along with it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Clarence. And another one for you, again from Saxi, who says, I've done some transformation in Zoho Analytics for one of my tables using the data prep feature. Will it automatically apply every time the table gets updated, or should I save these rules? And he also asks, how can I filter the tables that I did transformations alone?
Okay. So if you have done that, if you have used the data preparation capability as part of the import flow that I was talking about, right? So if the import has been scheduled to automatically fetch data in a periodic interval of time, this data preparation pipeline will also get executed as part of whenever the import is getting updated, right? So you don't have to do anything. So whenever the scheduled import gets executed, even the data preparation pipeline will get executed as part of the task, and the transform data will get written inside the Zoho Analytics tables. So that's the first part. The second part, what was the question, Julie?
The second part was, how can I filter the tables that I did transformations alone?
Yeah, so the filtering of tables is something right inside the Zoho Analytics context itself. You can filter it, but you cannot filter data set as part of the data preparation capability. You can only remove, cleanse, merge, things like that. You cannot filter data set at this point of time.
Okay, thank you. And Clarence, another one for you from Minhaz Alam. In Zoho Analytics 5.0, can we use forecasting for cash flow for businesses which operate on net terms, money coming in and going with due dates on future dates?
Okay, so it's about cash flow forecasting, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we use
Okay,
forecasting
so
for cash flow? Yeah.
yeah. So actually, we don't give a pre-packaged cash flow forecasting model as part of financial for analyzing the financial data, but you can definitely derive cash flow forecasting if you are bringing financial data. So we have some solutions that we have documented, so we can share it as part of an email. But you can definitely do cash flow forecasting from the financial data that you're importing into Zoho Analytics.
And in general, anything that has a time series component, or as long as you're looking at time series data, forecasting can be applied on those data sets.
Okay. One more for Clarence from Albert. Which plan do you get included with Zoho One?
Yeah, Zoho One, it's yet to be launched. So this is I guess you're talking about the data preparation functionality into Zoho One. So it's yet to be launched. So that will be available by end of this quarter. The capability equivalent to that of the enterprise plan in data prep will be available, but the number of records will be scoped to starting with 5 million records for the plan. So it will not be 100 million records. It will start at 5 million records.
Okay, thank you. And Clarence, one from Sydney. If you make these edits with data coming from CRM, would it update CRM data as well, or only the data here?
No. If you're looking at the standalone data preparation capability, so you can get data from Zoho CRM, but currently we do not have the capability to update directly into Zoho CRM. We don't give the export capability in Zoho to CRM, but that's in the pipeline. So we are going to build export feature in data prep to export the data into Zoho CRM in an automated manner. That will be done. With respect to Zoho Analytics, we are talking about Zoho Analytics, where it has the capability to import data from Zoho CRM to do analysis on the sales data. You can always do that, but we don't give you a direct export feature to push the data back into Zoho CRM. That's not possible. Of course, you can do it by exporting manually and importing inside Zoho CRM in a manual process. That's always possible. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've got time for one last question. Again, for Clarence from Shara Howell. Would you use the data prep to pull data from Xero? And if so, which option would you use?
Okay, so currently data preparation does not support the integration with Xero directly. Okay, so Xero, you can do it from Zoho Analytics. So you can import the data from Xero using the Xero connector that we already offer. So you import the data, then inside data prep, you would have seen an option called import from Zoho Analytics. Okay, there's a small option in the import wizard. So what you can do is from the workspace that you've set up Xero connector inside Zoho Analytics, pull the data into data prep, do all the transformation, and export it back into data prep, into Zoho Analytics. So that way, you can get data from Xero, do all the transformation, cleansing, and preparation and enrichment in the data prep tool, the data prep studio, and push it back to Zoho Analytics. This whole pipeline can be automated.
Okay, thank you. With just a minute to go, we wanted to let you know that we're going to be running a series of virtual classroom sessions that we're naming Bootcamp 5.0. We encourage you to register and attend these to learn more about the new features and how they can help your businesses. You can see the URL posted on the slide here, so please do take a look at those. And a big thank you to all of you once more for taking the time to join us today. We really appreciate it. And we'd love you to share the information and talk openly on your social channels about all of this to help us spread the word. We'd really appreciate your help to let everyone know how they can take advantage of these new features. We'll be in touch soon with the follow-up materials, and you can contact us via the email shown on your screen if you need anything more. So with that, I wish you a great rest of your week ahead, and we'll say goodbye for now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.